Okay, so in a pot, you're going to combine 1 cup of the elderberry. They are nice, dark purplish color. And you're going to add 2 cups of purified or just really clean water. You know, as clean as you can get, not tap, anything but tap water, but purified spring is best. About 1 inch of sliced fresh ginger. So 1 inch is about right there. Okay, and then you're going to also add 1 cinnamon stick. So there's my cinnamon stick there, and you're just going to allow it to boil. You're going to bring it to a boil. And one of the reasons why I like the cinnamon stick, because it slowly releases the flavor into the syrup. So you can also use ground cinnamon, but use about 1/4 teaspoon, not a lot. Okay, because the ground is very powerful and you don't want to overpower it with the cinnamon taste. So you want to have a nice syrup, but with just a hint of cinnamon flavor and ginger. So you're going to allow that to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to turn it down to your lowest setting, and you're going to allow this to simmer for exactly 30 minutes. So let me set to 30 minutes. That's okay, and start. Okay, so now that's going, and once it's finished simmering for 30 minutes, we're going to take it off the heat. I'm going to move it to the back rack and allow it to steep for 1 hour. Okay, so now that your elderberry mixture has finished simmering for 20 minutes and steeping for 1 hour, it's nice and it's still a little warm. It's not all the way cool. So this is why when you want to add your honey, you want to make sure you add a more liquefied honey, because the thick, really creamy or solid honey will not melt at this stage. Okay, so now the next stage is you want to separate the berries from the liquid. So I'm going to use a cheesecloth. Now you can actually use a milk bag, but I just like keeping my milk bags for milk, and this, because of the color of the berries, it'll stain the milk bag. So again, you can use it because it fits really nicely into a measuring cup, but I'm going to use a piece of cheesecloth. All right, so I'm going to just nestle that in there and just pour it right in. All of the contents. I think I just splattered some on me, and this stuff it stains. So just be careful. It's really hard to get out. So, all right. So look at just about all the berries. All right. Let's set that to the side. I'm just going to gather up all the corners and squeeze. So it's always, I mean, you can do this in a different bowl, but it's always nice to do it directly into a measuring cup, because then you can see exactly how much you have, how much you've yielded, and that can help you determine how much honey. Because remember, we're only going to put half as much as you have in the measuring cup. Okay? So I'm squeezing, trying to squeeze all the contents. So right now, we have exactly just about a little over maybe 1 cup. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You don't want to waste any, so you want to squeeze out as much as possible, just like you do when you're making nut milk. You want to just milk it and squeeze as much as you can, because you've done all this work to get to this point, so you don't want to let any go to waste. Okay, so I'm just going to take, see my hands, it's like beet juice. Let me just rinse my hands off really quickly. Okay, so this has yielded 1 cup. So now that it's yielded 1 cup, we know we're going to add a ½ cup of honey. All right, so let me just measure out a ½ cup. So that's almost the entire, yeah, it's pretty much the entire jar. So I'm just going to add that right in to my mixture. This will also give it that syrup consistency. All right, So because this was pretty much a half cup, I'm just going to add the rest of it. All right. So again, it's still a little warm, so it will melt a little bit simply because the honey is liquid. All right. So we're just going to mix that a little bit. All right. Until it's all incorporated. Now at this point, you can pour it into your jar and store it in the refrigerator. Now it doesn't have a shelf stabilizer. Now just like regular cough syrups that you keep on the shelf, if you want to keep it on the shelf, you have to put a natural shelf stabilizer. So you can actually add a 1/4 cup of Bourbon Whiskey. I'm not going to show the brand, but as you can see, I don't drink a lot of it. My friend Crystal gave this to me for my birthday in October, and I only use this for making syrups and also for making bourbon vanilla. So you can add a 1/4 cup if you're only making 1 cup of syrup. And that's if you want it as a shelf stabilizer, where you can, so it doesn't mold. Because if you put it on the shelf as is, it will mold. So if you're giving it to your children, I would recommend leaving this out. If you just want an alcohol-free diet or just a syrup without alcohol, this is just as good without it. Okay, so now that I've added the honey, the sweetener, and it looks like it's all been incorporated. Okay, that looks good. So you can add it right to your jar. Now actually, this is about 1 3/4 cup. So this is going to be much more. Actually, I can probably use 2 cups. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do half non-alcoholic and the other half alcoholic. I just have to find another jar. Where's my lid? Oh, I lost my lid. Okay, so I guess I'll have to use this one. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, so this will be the non-alcoholic. And so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of bourbon. Let's put that right in there. You know, like the old school hooch our parents used to make for colds. But yeah, I recommend like an oak barrel type whiskey or brandy. I don't really like a lot of the clear liquors or the grain ones, but I do like this. I do like the brandy, and it smells, brandy or the bourbon whiskey, and it smells so good. Okay, so I have to find another jar to put it in, but you can either use a jar like this, another 8-ounce jar, or you can find a 16-ounce jar to put all of it in if you're making either alcoholic or the non-alcoholic. Okay, just store it in your refrigerator. This will last months and months and months. This is a great way to fight off colds, flus, any viruses that you may have, any bacteria in your body, while you're still trying to stabilize your body and boost your immune system. 2 teaspoons a day will do it for you. This is a great time to have it. It's easy to make, and it's really simple. So if you have any questions, just drop it down below, and I will talk to you soon.